All right, welcome to another Bragging Rights. This week I am highlighting some miniatures that I recently painted. And this is this unit and another couple of units are the first painting I've done in about 2 months as I've been recovering from Lyme disease. So let's jump in. So these are Gripping Beast Lycians. You can see this spelled two ways, L-Y-K and L-Y-C. I prefer L-Y-C typically. These guys occupied the southwestern tip of Anatolia. Think of it as a little area that is southern part of Ionian Turkey, or Ionian Anatolia, right next to Caria and Cilicia. So you may have heard of Caria as a area for Persians to recruit hoplites, and you've certainly heard of Cilicia from Cilician pirates who would have come up in stories of Pompey, Caesar, and Spartacus as well. So these guys have a Greek look and a relatively Greek culture, but there's certainly Persian influence that comes into it. As you know, at this point where these models are represented as kind of 4th century BC, they've been under Persian rule for quite some time. And it's unclear exactly how much that affected the culture, but there would have been Persian colonies and Persian rulers installed, as well as Persian military service. So no doubt there would have been some variation from what you might expect from, you know, although there is no mainland really, but, you know, Western Aegean Greeks. So these Lycians come from Gripping Beast. They're in 28mm. They come in packs of multiples of 4. And here are 8. 8's a little more than I typically do on this base size. I typically do 6 on this base size, but I figured since I had 8, I would paint all of them and put them in and just have them have a little bit of a crowded look. Gripping Beast is typically a little chunkier than I prefer. Let me get this right out of here. Little chunkier than I prefer at times, but that actually allows them to mix in well with multiple ranges. Nowhere near as chunky as Aventine or Foundry, at least in my estimation, and are able to convincingly stand near Relic Miniatures and Agama, which those two I'm starting to prefer. They're still really short in comparison to some of the Victrix stuff. Sorry, I got some sand in this guy's hair. I'm gonna have to clean that out with tweezers later. But all in all, pretty good models. I'd say the faces are not great. They're okay, but some of them are cast a little wonky, where like kind of half their face is a little bit obscured. I don't clean these up ahead of painting them because I want to show what they're like from the manufacturer. I do think that with a little cleaning up, these faces would be a lot higher quality. They come with open hands, which I really like, and I was able to put in broomstick spears. You may have looked at these and thought they were spears that come with these guys or cast spears, but those are actually broomstick spears, and I think they work out really nicely here. Now, the left hands of some guys hold a bundle of javelins, and those are cast on the miniature. The shields I used are from Victrix for the simple reason that they're cheap, they're plastic. I have a ton of them, and they're really well supported by shield designs. And I thought these shield designs were a little bit Lycian. So Lycians do have an associated with the, I think it's called the Triskelion. I think it appears on some coins from the period, and it's more than one coin. So I did include one of those, and then had a Gorgon as well. I tried to stay away from seafaring images, as I feel these as more of a land power. So how will I field these in terms of which armies will I use them in? Well, they are based for Kings of War, so this could be a troop in Kings of War. I can push it together with another one to make a regiment, but these are actually mainly for my Ptolemaic forces of Raphia, where some Lycians would have served as Javelinmen or spearmen in small units under Ptolemy. Now, they were renowned for being kind of mercenaries throughout the Hellenistic world, from the time of, it's 330-ish, from the time that Alexander came storming through Anatolia and they joined the empire, from the time to basically until the Romans finally incorporated this territory. So before then and after then, they were fighting with and against all sorts of Greek forces. So you can get a lot of use out of these. I opted to go with kind of hoplon designs as opposed to Theros, because I feel like you can argue the hoplon pretty late, right? Like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable taking it all the way to Raphia. I don't know if I'd go beyond that. But the Theros is only usable in that late period, and then you wouldn't really be able to put the Theros in something that's, say, right around the time of Alexander, or you certainly couldn't do it in the time of the conflicts between, think like Ionian Revolt, or when they would have been fighting with and against Athens too, even earlier. I went with really simple color schemes here. I was very inspired by one of the only pieces of art we have for Lycian warriors, and it's Lycian Javelinmen in one of the Osprey books, I think under the Persian forces. I'm not positive if it would have been the Lycians that are under Herodotus's description, because Lycians would have appeared in the battles of Herodotus fighting with the Persians. Although more famously, the Lycian Marines with their bows and javelins and armor would have been depicted more often. Lycians were also famous for fighting with a Lycian sickle that's, I think it was like a rhomphaia. I think it's called a drepna or drepna. It's pretty cool. It's a chance in a Hellenistic army to bring in more of that Thracian vibe of a really heavy close combat weapon. So, said enough about these guys. You should go pick up a pack for the upcoming Saga Age of Alexander. I definitely think it's a good buy. The models have enough detail to fit in with kind of the past 20 years of most metal Hellenistic age miniatures, and they're serviceable. They do the job, and this is a niche that there aren't many companies out there filling, of having Lycians available at all, especially 3 different poses here. There are 2 other poses, I believe, for command figures, but I don't have those yet. All right, well, have a great rest of your day, and go check these out at Griffin Beast.